Doom. He needs no introduction. I want to see how far I can get with this character in every single mission. But here are the rules. Doom can only be aided by his Doom bots, which is this big thing and this little one. So let's see if he can go all the way, or if he's just doomed from the start. First we start off with the best mission in the game, or at least my favorite. Because in this mission you get a face-off against the Abomination and Sandman. But I thought I could at least get past the Abomination part and no further. But it turns out I was wrong. Because in order to get to the Abomination, you need to destroy silver objects. And we all know that silver objects require some explosives. And although I knew Dr. Doom didn't have any explosives wrapped around his wrist, I thought at least the Doom bot did. But I was wrong. And then I realized that these missions are going to be very short from now on. Because the next mission requires you to turn in all sorts of shapes and sizes with the Elastic Man, but unfortunately we know that Dr. Doom and his bots do not have that ability. So after destroying the Octobots, there was really no going anywhere from here. Unless he was on to the next mission, which to my surprise I could actually do, because it was a puzzle that required intelligence, and of course Dr. Doom is very intelligent. And then came the second obstacle, which besides destroying the lab and everyone in it, required some sticky web slinging abilities that I know that we don't have. Then came the raft, which I thought was going to get pretty far. However, I realized even though we have a big fit, we do not have a character that can fly or swim. Quickly moving on. Then came Stark's Tower, which I thought was ridiculous because at least this big figure should be able to jump over these barriers, but apparently no, it's not possible. And while we're on the topic of not possible, it's also not possible for Dr. Doom to figure out how to cloak himself in his suit, because this character is turning out to be pretty useless. I didn't even get the chance to beat anyone up in this mission. But then we move on to this mission, which is the Asgard mission, which is also one of my favorites, and I thought, yes, finally, a mission where my abilities is useful, because of course they have Thor in this mission. However, upon entering, I also realized you have to melt a bunch of ice, which I know this character does not have the ability to do so this became another very short mission. Moving on to the next mission was the X Mansion, which was an easy one. All I had to do at the beginning was save a bunch of students. How hard could that be? And it was going great. I was destroying the foes, I was building the stairs, destroying the banisters, and then I realized I required some heat. And I did not have any heat vision. So I did the next best thing as Dr. Doom and I let them all burn. Then came the Latveria mission, and if there's any mission where I can thrive on, it's surely my own home. But no, just as you guessed it, my own bots turned against me, and my own walls decided not to break down or let me in. Because besides breaking this wall down, I still needed Elastic Man to do his stretchy stuff, which I did not have the ability to do so. But to my surprise, this next mission got me a lot further than any other mission. I mean, not as far as I wanted to, but it's still a win. I still managed to unlock the first obstacle and unlock a mini kit in the process, which I wasn't expecting in this mission. Moving on to the next mission, which caught me by surprise because I realized that this Doombot was able to go in the green goo. And then I thought, oh, that's good. Let's see how far I can get with this. And just when I thought I can break some more barriers and get further than any other mission, Lady Liberty decided to get involved and get in my way. However, this next mission I was able to not only get past the first obstacle, but also the second. But it was in the second that I also realized that the next obstacle would come along, which we would have to call it quits. Now the next two missions is pretty much like every other mission, which is I couldn't get past the first obstacle because this character, besides beating up goons, is pretty useless in all these missions because there's not many obstacles he can manage. I mean, a character like this should be able to blow up silver objects, should be able to destroy big walls, besides his big fig, should be able to fly, and definitely should be able to cloak. And in this last mission, we were useful for about 10 seconds, and I tried to let Galactus destroy the own silver bits, but he just wasn't buying it. He was just too smart, and that's when I realized that Dr. Doom, although he may be powerful in this universe, he is useless.